Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You have found the Gamer Social Club podcast. I am your host, Nathan, aka One Hot Dragon, and I am also joined by the Horror for Horror, Fraser. How are you, Fraser?
Nathan, I'm doing very well, thank you, my friend. How are you?
I'm just phenomenal, as always.
Good.
And
Good.
I am also joined by Toot Toot on aboard the emulation station. It's a PC guru, Russell, here to show off his PC specs. How are you, Russell?
As always, I was better before I heard that, Nathan.
Yeah. You missed out the pics, but
Yeah.
No, I did. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. Here to show off his PC specs. Emphasis on pecs. There we go.
there we go.
Now we
There
got it.
go.
Now we got it.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed this week, but I guess we'll get into that sort of thing later. Having to replace phones that people stole.
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone breaking into my car, and anyway, it's been a week.
I hate that so much. And then we are also joined by none other than the man himself, Danno. I still haven't come up with an intro for you. I apologize.
That worked better than whatever the hell you're going to come up with if you're doing that. Oh, I'm fine.
And I'm joined by Love it.
And that reminds me of I got like an aunt and uncle, and my grandmother's name was Connie, Bonnie, and Ronnie. So we'd all be like Connie, Bonnie, Ronnie, and then my dad's name was Tim, so it was Connie, Bonnie, Ronnie, and Tim. But anyways,
Tim.
all right. So, today we are going to talk about Phil Spencer's quoting of no more red tape, and our Two Falls reviews since we didn't get to it last week, and we'll probably get into some of the Binding of Isaac talk because Russell's been playing so much of it. The Gamer Social Club is a place where gamers from all around the world come and share their love for video games together in a positive environment. Our goal is to give gamers a platform to share their experiences, to add to the conversation in the games industry, to give more gamers a sense of community, and bring a little more happiness to your life. So, Fraser, what you been up to, buddy? Besides, wearing that T-150 helmet around your new job.
Just rolling around that. My week has been full of extreme highs and extreme lows. It's
Really?
one of these weeks. So, we'll start with the lows first. My farming simulator still hasn't arrived. It's now been out for a week. I got an email yesterday saying that the estimated delivery time is going to be December the 1st.
Jesus.
So, what the fuck is up with that?
Wow.
I have no words. Like I've had pre-order stuff go wrong before. Like I think it was Space Marine. I went to pick it up and they couldn't find it, so I got it like a day late. But I mean, this is probably my own fault for like relying on someone else. So what I'm gonna do is, I reckon after I finish up here, I'm just gonna go down to my local EB Games, and they have a 14-day return policy, like no questions asked. So I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it for 13 days, and then I'm gonna return it.
Yeah.
and then when my one shows up, then I can just carry on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm so gutted about it because I've been so excited for it for months, and I've just been watching everyone else play it, and it's been brutal.
This is where everybody will be saying, just buy digital.
Yeah, I know. But digital doesn't come with a key that turns my computer on and off.
This is true.
Which is pretty cool. Because I've got my full farming rig set up, and the special edition comes with like an ignition key, and so you actually turn on all the tractors physically with this key.
Yeah.
And there's something about that just is so fucking cool.
I was bragging about that to my family. I saw my family this past weekend, and I was telling them all about your setup, and they were like mind blown. They're like, "That's so cool."
Yeah. And then, so going from extreme lows to extreme highs, I was, I put my name in the ballot for one of those Nintendo alarm clocks, and I got one.
Really?
So,
Oh yeah, I saw the
yeah,
picture in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought a $160 alarm clock. So that's a thing that I did this week. And I set it up, and it took a hot minute to set it up because there's all like motion sensors in it. And so I had to like walk away from it, and I had to like lean to the left and lean to the right, and it was all I don't even know. But I've got it set up now, and the first morning, so apparently what it does is it 5 minutes before the alarm goes off, the motion sensor turns on, and it like senses you moving, and it starts to play this like really nice kind of tune from any Nintendo game that you want.
That's
so
really
I had
cool.
it set to Legend of Zelda, and so it starts to like this fire starts crackling and these owls start hooting, and it's really really nice. And then the minute that my alarm was supposed to turn off, this fucking aggressive like "Wah!" thing happens and rudely awoke me.
Rudely.
Rudely awoke me. So I've spent the last like 5 days like playing around with the different sounds, and they're all fucking super aggressive. So, so that's going to be a thing that I'm going to have to figure out how to turn off. But it's almost like a smart alarm clock. Like it records your sleeping patterns, and it shows you when you're in like a deep sleep and versus when you're restless, and it does have like a there's this mode that you can turn on that kind of plays like sounds to help you fall asleep. It's very nice, and it's a great idea, but I just need to figure out how to turn this alarm off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
See, what's funny?
So
The funniest thing about all that you said is extremely high highs and extremely low lows, and I really thought you were going to start talking about your job and your job transition.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
started talking
No.
about alarm clocks.
No, I don't start my new job until January. So
Oh, really?
I've still
Okay.
got a few weeks to go. But I've completely checked out.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
You know, as you do, it's very hard to do it. What else have I been doing? Oh, I've been playing a bunch of Death Stranding.
Oh, really?
I'm-
Okay.
I think I'm about 2.5 hours in, and I've just taken control again. It's like 2.5 hours of cutscenes at the start, and like any good Kojima game. What else has been going on? Oh, I've been playing Blasphemous 2. I am reviewing the DLC. I finished it on what day is it today? Saturday. So I finished it on Thursday, and it was hard.
Yeah.
I told
It
you.
was very very hard. There were times, there was one particular boss that I spent over an hour on, just dying and dying and dying and dying. But I did have fun with it. It is an experience. So I'll be writing up that review, and that should be out later today or tomorrow.
Nice.
And then just more zombies. Lots and lots
Yeah.
of zombies with Monique.
Yeah, Monique's still feeling it.
Oh yeah, so we're racing to see who prestiges first.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
so proud. Yeah, because she hasn't been working, so she's just been playing like zombies,
Yeah.
and she always sends me a message. She's like, well, "What level are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, 53." And she's like, "Oh, damn, I just got to 51. All right," and then it just carries on. So I bought I don't know if you can see it, but it like on the side of my headphones there, it's the little it's the bunny rabbit from the mystery box. So when you use the mystery box from zombies a lot, the bunny rabbit comes out and he's like,
Yeah.
So I bought these, and it turned up with a double XP token, and Mon was like, what's double XP? And I was like, you get
no.
2 times the XP. And she's like, you're not allowed to use that. Because that means that you're gonna get there before I do. So so it's been cool. Loads of fun. Season 1
awesome.
started yesterday, I believe. So
Yeah, have you checked it out at all?
yeah, I have because I got the hardened vault edition or whatever. I got the first 20 tier skips. They've changed it again. So you know how they used to be able to have a map? There was a map, and you would unlock the different parts of the map. So you could kind of pick and choose what weapons you wanted to get as you went. They've like completely removed that, and it's just like Diablo, like 1 to 100.
Okay, gotcha.
So I guess it was to stop people from getting the new weapons like just straight away. You actually have to like play it and earn them. The first 20 tier skips gets you to 1 tier below the first new weapon.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, just need to play a couple of games. The new operator looks really cool. He's all like covered in gems and glowing orange and stuff. But yeah, I'll be jumping back into that at some point.
Is it a lot less grindy?
I've only played 1 game since the new season.
Yeah.
It's still, what they've done though is they've removed the level requirement to unlock camos now on your guns. So before you needed to max out the weapon in order to like unlock the final camos.
Yeah.
But now you just earn from 0 and you just carry on through. So I've got the gold camo for 3 assault rifles so far. And I'm just gonna it's only critical shots. That's it. There's no other challenges. It's like 2,000 critical shots and that's it, gold.
Well, that's actually really awesome for achievement hunters because there is an achievement where you got to get, is it like diamond skin, I believe?
Diamond, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can do that with, I think there's only 2 shotguns. So you can do that with the shotguns and you're good to go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be super easy then.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
So you get it really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's running shotguns on Nuketown.
That's it. Should be a bit of fun. That's me. Good week.
Well, I'm glad you had such a good week. Sucks to hear about Farming Simulator, though. I hope you'll get into it soon, though, right?
Yeah, I'll probably get into it this afternoon. To be honest, I'll finish this blasphemous thing and then I'll run off to the store and get it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
I feel like such an asshole though, with the intention of returning it.
Back when I was a teenager pulling that crap, like my parents would be like,
"Oh yeah,
I don't know if this is ethical, son." And I'm just like, do I look like I care? Anyway, Russell, how have you been? What have you been up to this week aside from getting your phone stolen?
I mean, that was unfortunately a highlight.
Oof.
Oh no.
Oof.
Yeah, that it was so I guess I can tell the story and leave a couple details out. Lest people figure out where I actually am, which to be fair, like if you wanted to figure out where the hell I was for some fucking reason, it's not that hard to figure out. But I went to Walmart. I locked my door. I know I locked my door, but before I went into Walmart. But the fact of the matter is, the vehicle I own is a 2004, so not the best locking systems and such. Plus, my car has a wiring problem, so it would appear that my driver's side door didn't lock properly. And when I came back out, my driver's side door was ajar, and my phone, which I left charging on my passenger seat, was not there. So,
well, there's your first mistake. No.
Thanks.
I'm just gonna do play-by-play.
No, I think my first mistake was probably thinking there were decent human beings in a Walmart parking lot. That was probably the biggest one. So I got that figured out. New phone, which was, I won't lie, getting new fancy electronics is kind of cool.
It's always fun, isn't it?
So now I don't even know if you'd call it an upgrade. I had a Galaxy S22. Now I have the 24 FE. So like the display is slightly crappier, I think, but then like everything else is an upgrade. So yay,
Okay.
I guess.
Yep.
What else have I been doing? I've played a couple hours of Slitherhead over the weekend. That game is not what I thought it would be at all. But it would appear that you'll be getting my thoughts on that hopefully sooner than later. And then been playing a decent amount of The Binding of Isaac, getting prepped for the multiplayer, which drops on the 18th, lest something change between, now and then anyway. Shit does happen. I think that's about it, like as far as anything our listeners would want to hear about anyway.
So when you say Slitterhead is not what you expected, I was expecting it to be like a third-person action. Is that...
So it is. The first boss fight, I immediately saw all the menus and icons show up, and I was like, oh, this is a Souls-like. Like, literally, you get to the first boss, and literally the combat and everything, it's literally like playing Elden Ring. Like, the art style is obviously different, but...
Yeah.
And the story is really weird. I don't even know if I comprehend everything that's going on, necessarily. There's this weird possession power you have, which you can use to, like, go from... You're kind of like a ghost or a demon or something, I'm not really sure. And you can, like, possess people. So, like, in order to get over large areas, or, like, if you're being chased by something, rather than, like, jump over fences and stuff, you can just teleport from one person to another.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And I wasn't... Luckily, at least as far as what I've played so far, there doesn't appear to be a ton of combat. I am not like... I have... For someone who doesn't like Souls-likes, I do have like 80 hours in Elden Ring, so there's that.
Hey,
And I think...
that's different, though.
Yeah, and I think see, with Elden Ring, it's different because you run into a hard boss, and then you can just go grind the hell out of some XP, and then go back and cheese the boss. At least that's what I do. And I think I have quite a bit of time in Dark Souls 3 too. I don't remember exactly how much, but anyway, that's irrelevant. It is not what I was expecting. I appear to be enjoying it more than most, though. I've seen a lot of like 6.5 grades on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a 10 or 15 hour game, so I've got a ways to go. So we'll see by the end. Who knows? Things can... I've had games I was enjoying that were like 15 hours long that like the last 5 hours were just awful. So things could change.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It was also a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, $50 seems like a lot, actually.
Yeah, on release day, I jumped onto the Xbox store and I was like, cool, I'll grab it. And it was about $90 for me, $85 to $90.
No,
I thought, you know what? I'm gonna hold off on this for a bit.
Can't say as I blame you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it wasn't for like writing for the site, I probably would have waited for a sale on this one.
Right.
But tis what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying my time with that. And then again, The Binding of Isaac. I'm watching my hours ever grow on that. I got a little over 200 hours in Dead Cells. I would not be surprised if by the end of the year I have over that in Isaac on Steam alone.
Amazing.
I also have the Japanese collector's version of this for the Switch too. So yeah.
Did that come with a steelbook?
No, it came. It did not come with a steelbook. It did come with an Isaac.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Pretty cute.
That's cool.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Does the Switch have steelbook? Like they're different cases, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Pokemon ones are really cool. And then there's also a Metroid Dread one that looks sick as hell.
I've just never
yeah,
seen.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen. I'm
Really?
pretty sure they exist, but I don't know that I've ever seen a Switch Steelbook.
Yeah. Pokemon Violet and
definitely.
Scarlet got one. I don't know if Sword and Shield got one or not, but the two that I listed, I know for a fact exist. Those are really cool. I love those ones. Let's see. We are at 20. So, Danno, what have you been up to? I know you've been pretty busy with keeping up with the site and work and put up Christmas decorations and all that good stuff today.
Fun, that's for sure. Gaming wise, I'm in a bit of a slump right now. I put it on Twitter, but it's like I'm playing Visions of Mana and I'm enjoying it, but I know I'm not gonna finish it before Stalker 2 comes out, so I'm just kind of like I don't really want to play it to stop midway through. So I'm a kind of person that likes to play one game at a time, or at least one story. If there's like Call of Duty multiplayer or whatever, then I'll play that separate, but one story at a time. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, why? I'm gonna get to like chapter 4 and quit. So why bother? So I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2. I went back to that's kind of my go-to game whenever I just need something to play. But other than that, yeah, just writing for the site and being in agony with my back and trying to get everything done around the house for the Christmas and all that. And hopefully my phone doesn't fall again and you don't see the giant mess that I got going now. But
what if you don't mind me asking, what ended up happening with your back?
So when I was like 14 or 15, I went out golfing and it was like 6 or 7 degrees. I was really cold anyway. And I pulled it somehow and it's never been right ever since. I've been to physio, I've been to all kinds of stuff. The best, I have a really bad sciatic nerve. And it's been like the last couple of weeks, I've just randomly been walking and falling down because I just get that like instant jolt of like severe pain. The best diagnosis I've got so far is I have a disintegrating disc that isn't disintegrated enough to notice. So they're like just one day we'll be able to notice it. Until then, not much we can do.
Jeesh. I guess they don't have a term in the medical field for getting Thanos snapped out of your spine. Let's see. What was I going to ask you? The Visions of Mana, is that a game that takes a lot of time, much like Metaphor Re Fantasia?
It's not that long. Everything I've read, if you just blast through the campaign, it's about 30 hours. But generally speaking, in those games, you don't want to just blast through the campaign. You want to play at least some of the side missions. Like I've been to, I want to say like 5 cities so far. Mm-hmm. And each city, like there's little indications on the map, like go over here, there's a side mission. You talk to someone, they'll tell you whatever they need. And like I said, about 5 cities, there's been 5 or 6 of those icons per city. Mm-hmm. So that adds up if you want to do them or not. And there's all kinds of other side content. There's like little, I forget the name of them. It's almost like a trial dungeon that you go into and you have to beat it within a certain amount of time to earn. When I finally found them, I was too low of a level. Like the first one I found, I was too low of a level, so I've never actually beat one yet to know what you get from them. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do with it, and if you want to just blast through it, like I said, it's about 30 hours. But I think I read the 100% completion, if you want all the achievements, is like 50 hours. So yeah,
that's not too crazy.
Yeah,
but it's when Stalker's out in 4 days, I'm not going to get 50 hours. Yeah. So I'm just like,
Yep. Yeah. I completely relate to that. I'm like that as well. I really don't want to start a new story thing when I'm in the middle of one. That's what ended up happening with, Days Gone. Days Gone was one of those games where I started it after Christmas was over. Like, typically January seems to be the month for me that I go and hit the backlog up. I think I even mentioned that last week where I was like, that's probably when I'll start Death Stranding, is probably after Christmas, or depending on whatever game I get for Christmas or whatnot, right? but I started Days Gone the year that Elden Ring came out. And so I started it and I was like, oh, I'm going to get right into Horizon. And then what happened with Elden Ring was, well, that's history. I was like, nah, I can't miss out on this. And got into Elden Ring, and I've not been back to Days Gone since. And I would really like to go back. I've actually been thinking about going back because I'm supposed to meet Sam Witwer in the beginning of December. So I've kind of been wanting to like revisit some of my favorite games that he's in. Like I might even do a playthrough of Force Unleashed, which would be a lot of fun.
Have you got a copy of Force Unleashed to get him to sign?
You know what?
That'd be pretty cool.
Right here.
Yes, there you go.
Steelbook.
I got the Steelbook.
Done.
Yeah, I sold some stuff on eBay, so I had some eBay credit. Ordered this one, and then I also got this for.
Oh,
shoot!
nice
What's the guy's name who voices Marcus?
Dom something. No. Dom,
Oh God, I wrote a piece.
Yeah,
about
we just
this
wrote an
That's the
article
guy.
two
about
weeks
him.
ago.
Yeah. He plays the voice of
isn't
Bender.
it the guy who does Bender?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jake from... Shoot, that's going to kill me. But yeah, he's going to be there. I'm hoping to get his autograph too, if I can afford it. But it gets pricey real quick. I got the other stuff already paid for, but that stuff I do not. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, I'm the same way, Danno. I cannot move on to another game. The way I always explain it to people is I'm just like, would you pick up a book and read halfway through and then pick up another book and then read halfway through that and come back to the first book you were reading? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I would just rather just fully immerse myself into one story, one game, and then be able to dedicate myself to the next game. Because I feel like that's a good way to like never go back to a game. Because, for example, Days Gone, I haven't gone back to that game since that was 2022. I think that Elden Ring came out.
Oh, Elden Ring's 2022.
Yeah. So it's been since 2022 since I played Days Gone. So yeah. Well, I'm glad
I've
to
just
hear.
done that with Blasphemous.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've just done that with Blasphemous. Like, all these things are coming out, and I was about 15 hours into Blasphemous, and I was like, I wonder how long this is gonna take. And I jumped online, and it was like 12 hours to complete, and I was like, but I'm at 15. What do you mean only? And
That's
then I ended
because
up rolling credits at about 33 hours, and it was like, maybe I'm
Well,
not very good at this.
It sounds like you died a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's hilarious.
If I may cut you off for a minute, Nathan. I don't know how much you were enjoying Days Gone or not.
I was enjoying
think it's
it a
fucking
lot.
fantastic. I think it's a fantastic game. I think I enjoyed it more than most, though, because the game takes place in Bend, Oregon, which is just a few hours away from where I live. So
yeah,
that might have had something to do with that.
Yeah.
But
That's well, I was really enjoying it, and I got to the halfway point. I got to the point where you unlock the second part of the map, and at that point, I was starting to feel like the game had overstayed its welcome. I was like, okay, I'm actually ready to wrap this game up, and I'm just finding out that I'm 50% done.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, you're about to run into a shitload of hordes, which is a fighting mechanic that they advertised, and like a lot of people were like, "Where's the horde fighting?" Yeah, it's
coming.
there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, because that was what surprised me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm this many hours into the game, and I'm just now seeing this. This is crazy. John DiMaggio, that's his name.
That's
John DiMaggio. That'd be. All right, let's go. Well, I haven't really been into anything myself personally. I've just been working. Like, that's it. I like took some melatonin on my drive home today because I was like, as soon as I get home, I want to pass out immediately so I can wake up early and actually get to see my kids this evening before we start recording the podcast, because that's currently where I'm at. I'm like, if I don't go to sleep the second I get home. I'm just not seeing my kids. And last week I didn't get to see them at all, and this week I'm not really getting to see them. So I got to have a family dinner with everybody tonight before we got on. So that was really cool. Other than that, I got some time in with Dragon Age last weekend. I'm like chapter 7. That was like last Sunday that I was able to hit chapter 7, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the game. I think it's really great, and I'm still kind of waiting to hold off on talking any more about it until I've gotten some more time under my belt. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now that we've had a chance to catch up, let's get straight into the most useless news segment. Fraser, why is it the most useless news segment?
Well, Nathan, let me tell you. If you followed us on any of the social medias that we are on, gamersocialclub.ca is the website where you will find all the latest news and reviews and guides and all the fun stuff. On Twitter, we are gamer_S_C. We've also got a Blue Sky, which is gamer_S_C. And I'm also going to add the game of the month that we do that we hardly ever talk about.
Yes, thank you.
And that's where this all started. So this month we are doing Cult of the Lamb. So if that is something that you haven't played, that you think, do you know what? I would love to jump together with a bunch of legends and talk about the game and play it. And then in, what is it, the 16th? Then in maybe 5 or 6 days, we're going to start the talk about what we're going to play next month. Yeah, so make sure you come along. We'll pop a link in the description below where you can just come and join the fun.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you, because I keep forgetting to do that. I need to add it into the script here. That way I don't forget. Okay. So in case you missed it, let's see. Phil Spencer, I'm going to go ahead. There's 2 different articles by Gamer Social Club this week. One by Danno, and I'm going to kind of skim through that for you guys, for you audio listeners and, well, visual watchers as well. I love how I say visual watchers. I don't mean to do that. Those of you who are watching, there we go.
Wouldn't that be considered an oxymoron? Like that's duh.
Yeah,
I don't.
Nathan is.
Yeah, I don't know if the young kids use that term anymore, but
that's what Nathan is. That's great. So yeah, Danno did the no red lines quote by Phil Spencer, and I'll go over that, and then I'll also go over Harry's article, who was on the show last week, about how Phil Spencer talked more about the consoles in the future. So let's see. We've got the acquisition. So Phil Spencer had a conversation with, I believe it was somebody in Bloomberg, and he touched on many topics, including the Xbox handheld and their mobile plans and more acquisitions, perhaps. So as far as acquisitions and handhelds, he was quoted saying, "Long term, I love us building devices. And I think our team could do more real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now." And then let's see, he also said, expectation is that we would do something when it comes to handheld. And let's see, we definitely want to be in the market as far as acquisitions go. I can't talk, sorry. We definitely want to be in the market, and when we can find teams and technology and capability that add to what we're trying to do in gaming at Microsoft, absolutely, we will keep our heads up. And then he also ended up saying towards the end of the interview that the Xbox business has never been more healthy. The business is performing right now, and I think that means a more healthy future for hardware and the games we build. And then going into Harry's article, in case you all missed it, they have been doing a big promotion all week, basically saying
It's amazing.
It is amazing. I saw it on Instagram, and it was like this is an Xbox, and it shows a picture of your laptop. This is an Xbox, and then it shows a picture of a Steam Deck. And this is an Xbox, shows a picture of a phone, a picture of a laptop, a picture of a VR headset, a picture of an Amazon streaming device. And then it shows a picture of a cat litter box, and it's like, this is a cat box. So they've been running that around, kind of trying to really get it across that, hey, an Xbox is everywhere. Xbox is not a device, it is a ecosystem, basically, is what they're trying to push forward. And then let's see. And this was an interview done with Rolling Stone, and he talked about the future of the brand and their shift to multi-platform strategy. So this has kind of been the hot topic over the past year, especially like as soon as we got into the year 2024. This was the first topic to come across the table, and I feel like it's been the number one topic all year round when it comes to seeing exclusive games come to other platforms. He was quoted saying, "It literally was a box when it first launched. It was the direct Xbox. What it's grown into now is more accessibility." He also said, Xbox isn't just one device. Xbox is on your smart TV, Xbox is on your PC, Xbox is on your phone, and we're in the middle of that transition. And let's see, some fans voiced displeasure at the platforms moving towards the releasing their games on other platforms. Spencer is aware of this, acknowledging that these fans, quote, long for the simplicity of a single box, single platform, single game. But he also pointed out today's largest games are bigger than any of the individual platforms. He rounded this off by saying, long term, I love us building devices, and I think our team could do some real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning what's happening now. So one thing I'm going to say about this before I toss it over to Danno is I also read another article on some other Gamer Social Club wannabe website. And they were talking about how it came across as a burn to the PS5 Pro. And personally, I would just like to put my 2 cents on that. I don't think this was a burn. I don't think it should be considered a burn. I don't think that's... You're thinking like a console warrior when you're going to say that, oh yeah, Phil Spencer's out here taking shots at PS5 Pro when he's talking about we're not moving forward with that kind of design, and there's we're not... I think he was quoted saying that, you know, $1,000 console is not the direction we want to head in. And I think that was more of a testament to where Xbox is at themselves and where they see themselves going. I don't think that was a shot at PS5 Pro at all. I think they were just trying to put it out there that, hey, we are aware that there's a PS5 Pro in existence. That is not what we're doing. So we're looking at handheld devices. We're looking at making new hardware. But don't sit there and think we're going to be coming out with a Pro or $1,000 console anytime soon. That's the way I took it personally. And I don't think we should be using this to fuel console warring. But let's go ahead and just tackle this at whatever aspect you want to tackle first. And Danno, if you want to start us out, you go for it.
Yeah, sure. But just to touch on what you were, I don't think it was a shot at PlayStation, but all he was saying was he only thinks mid-gen refreshes are a necessity if there's like a big leap. Like, people think that a Pro or a mid-gen refresh has been like a forever thing, but it's really only been last gen, really. Like the 360 generation, there was like a slim version and stuff, but it wasn't really an upgrade. Last year was like the first upgrade. So, and it was a big upgrade because you were going from 1080p and everybody had 4K TVs. So that was kind of the thing. You were bumping up to a better console. And I think, like I said, I don't think it was a shot, but it was, hey, we don't really need to do it because it's, in our opinion, it's not necessary this go around. So that's where I'm at with that. As far as all his other comments, how long we got? This is...
we're about 40 minutes in, so take your time and we'll go from there.
Yeah, where do we want to start with the no red lines, I guess.
Yeah, we can start with no red lines.
People are taking that as like every game is now coming to PlayStation, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of a, we'll use Halo as an example. I have no idea if Halo will be one of those games coming or not, but if the Halo team comes to Xbox or whoever and says, hey, we want to go there, it won't be an automatic no. I think that's how I interpret his comments, not just, hey, every game's now coming to PlayStation or every game's coming to Nintendo or whatever the platform may be. I think there will always still be some exclusives. How many? Like, they have so many games lined up. Is it 5 games count? Like, no one really knows. I'm sure they have an idea, but I still think there will be some exclusives. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't care anymore. Like, let them have the games. To me, as long as my thing is make the console, which a lot of people said, well, they're not going to make the console, and Phil says they are. Phil's been known to, I don't even know if lying is the right word, that things have changed. I'm sure when he said them at the time, that is what he meant. I don't think Phil runs Xbox anymore to the degree that he used to. I think it's coming from, like, yes, Phil is the head of Xbox, but there's still someone above him, and there's a board, and there's all kinds of things that make these decisions above him. He might go into those meetings saying, no, we should do this, we should do that, and they would listen to him, but he's not the final decision maker anymore. I think he was until they spent, $100 billion or whatever the hell it was, like all in. But yeah, so I think some games will stay exclusive, but again, if they go to PlayStation, I don't care. Just give me the console. If I can play them, that's all I care about, is that we can play the games. If Russell just sold his Xbox, if he can, I had to throw that in there just for some fun. If you can play the game, good for you. Like,
Yeah.
Why should I? Like, oh no, I don't want Russell to play the game. Like, no.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Do you have anything to say back, Russell?
I mean, I've got again. How much time do you have? Not trying to take pot shots at danno or anything like that. I mean, what are you asking me? Just in general on my thoughts?
Yeah, just in general,
I don't know,
your thoughts on that topic, as far as because I mean, we've talked about it before, as far as exclusivity and games coming to other things.
So if you're, because there's a lot in the interview. If you're asking specifically about exclusivity,
the no red lines comment, yeah,
the no red lines. So, I mean, I'm not that shocked. To something that danno said about Phil Spencer being a liar. I will say things change. I will also say I don't know if Phil is a liar so much as he chooses his words carefully. I know a lot of people have called him out that, like, oh, it was just going to be these 4 games and nothing else. That's not what he said. He said something, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'd have to look up the quote, but he said something to the effect of, it's going to be these 4 games. These are the 4 that you're getting. And then he said at the end, I don't know if he said there may be more, or you might have more coming, or it's these 4 games for now. He didn't just say it was going to be those 4 games and that was going to be it. He never said Halo wasn't coming. I know he was asked point blank about Starfield and Indiana Jones, I think, before it was revealed, and he straight up said it wasn't. Those 2 were not in those 4 games, which was the truth. Those were not the 4 original games. So I think he chooses his words carefully. To what danno said, I think Phil Spencer, if I'm not mistaken, is the head of Microsoft Gaming now. Sarah Bond is the head of Xbox, but
She's the president of Xbox, the head of Microsoft.
Yeah, however they're doing it. Regardless of Sarah's title, she still answers to Phil, so I mean, take that as you will. So I think I think they'll always have hardware. So I wouldn't get too freaked out about that. It is interesting. I don't know if it was ever confirmed or whatnot as far as their hardware goes. I thought I'd heard a couple years ago that the Microsoft Surface team was working on whatever the new Xbox console, handheld, whatever was going to be. I only bring that up to say that Microsoft, first and foremost, has always been a software company. So now it's very clear that because of all the money they spent, Microsoft wants to stick their fingers in the pie and like, oh, that doesn't taste well. You're going to do this with that, and you're going to do this with that. I think that's what we're seeing. I think if you look at the way Microsoft does stuff, like they still have like Surface laptops. I don't know if Microsoft makes tablets still. I think they do. There was the Windows Phone, but that was retired long ago. But my point is, they've always made hardware, but that's not their focus. So it would make sense if they make the Xbox handheld or whatever this new console is going to be. I'm still of the mind it might be like a PC console hybrid, whatever their next gen thing is, whatever they're going to call it. But they've always been a software company first and foremost. So like it literally just like the more this year in particular has gone on, the more it's very clear to me that Microsoft is steering the train now. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they don't steer it off the tracks. And I only say that because with Microsoft, if it's not named Windows, their track record is a little mixed, to say the least.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. This is probably the most transparent I've ever seen Phil Spencer in this interview, because there's always like he twists something a certain way or he says something a certain way where he's not really lying, but you're like, you hear him say something and then a bunch of people think something, and then I look at the interview and I'm like, that's not really what he said though. This is the first one that like everyone's freaking out about something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what he said. So
there's a law with anything, and then it leaves a law.
Yeah, and he gets asked
I lost them. They're gone.
What that person asked.
Oh, they're back. Lost you for a second, Russell.
Anyway, so yeah, again, Phil chooses his words carefully, but yeah, no red lines. As far as what it means, I kind of took it as nothing's off the table. I mean, I don't think that like PlayStation's going to be getting Redfall. I don't know why they'd want Redfall as far as like the way the sales and how successful that game was. If a game like Starfield or Halo is going to go to PlayStation, I mean, probably, I would say at this point. I think it's inevitable with the no red lines comment. Are they going to go to their back catalog and pull Fable and Fable 2? Who knows about that, but
I think the best way to describe it is nothing is off the table, but that also doesn't mean everything is on the table.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that at the very least, Xbox's more successful franchises are probably going to PlayStation. Like, Microsoft is probably going to look at the Halo. In my opinion, Microsoft is going to look at the Halo franchise and what that franchise has done and been like, well, if Call of Duty sells better on PlayStation than it does on Xbox, this could sell better over there too. That's not to say that it will, but I could see from Microsoft's point of view why they might think that.
Right.
Particularly now with how many more PlayStations there are versus how many Xboxes there are. So
I can't remember who said it to give credit to it, but I did find it interesting that Gears is getting a prequel. And there's the Halo rumored, I know we don't cover rumors, but there's a rumored remake of Halo 1. Is it a coincidence that they're going the prequel route to refamiliarize PlayStation fans with Gears of War, perhaps, and with Halo? And just, it's very difficult to jump into Gears 6 if you haven't played the first 5,
Yeah.
So if you're starting with a prequel, and here's this prequel,
If you release the prequel and then we're like after the prequel, well, we got this collection of all these other games. I could see. Yeah.
It makes sense strategically when you think like that. You can like Forza Horizon 6, you can like whatever, it's a racing game, but those story that Xbox is known for, not that they have many story-based games, but the ones that they do are like 6 or 7 games. I'm assuming Fable is a new storyline. Like I don't think it's like Fable
Yeah,
4.
I would assume it's a remaster. Well, not a remaster, but it's just like a reboot because it's just called Fable.
Yeah, I don't. From what I have seen, and we don't know a lot about it necessarily as much as we could, but I don't think that we're getting a prequel to the first one or like a Fable 3 Part 2. Or it doesn't seem like that.
It has Fable in the name, and I'm sure it has some mechanics of Fable, but it's a new game. And then beyond those, like Xbox's games are mostly too new to be that big of a deal for porting them, or they've already been on PlayStation, like all the companies they bought. If a Wasteland 4 comes, the first 3 were on PlayStation already, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I will say, I really wish. So I've said this on Twitter. I really wish they gave Xbox a chance to turn things around before going down this route. I know there's two. I have 2 things in my head. One, I really don't care where these games go. If they go to PlayStation or whatever, as long as the Xbox is there. That's my personal enjoyment of the games. That doesn't affect me at all. As I'm thinking of the business, though, I really wish they would have put all these games as exclusives, see what happens, see if you can build any momentum, and then if you're still not, you can always pivot to what they're doing now. Once you've made this move, it's really hard to pivot backwards. So, give Starfield exclusivity, give Indiana Jones, give all these games as a collective a chance. And if Call of Duty would have been probably the only one that's too big, it's kind of like Minecraft. You just let Call of Duty be Call of Duty, but everything else, go the exclusivity route till the end of this generation, see what happens, and then you can always go. So I really wish they gave that chance to Xbox or to Phil, because I think that was the vision from Phil and his team originally. And then Microsoft stepped in and said, "No, we need our money back."
Yeah, well, and that's the thing
is
is.
Wait for.
Oh no, you go ahead, Fraser.
So all they needed to do was wait for Call of Duty to be season 1 in, and they will have made their money back.
Yeah.
This first Call of Duty, I can't remember the money side of what they make from each Call of Duty, but it's stupid numbers just from microtransactions alone.
Yeah, just sale of the game is like $1.5-2 billion. It's a lot of money, and then you that's not even including the microtransactions and all the other stuff.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to make their money back relatively quickly, even plus some. And then the next Call of Duty next year will do exactly the same. Yeah. So, like what Danno said, if they'd just given it a chance, Call of Duty sells this much each year. We know we're going to make this, but we've seen it, actually on both sides recently. The Sea of Thieves went to PlayStation and it sold so well, and then last week, Death Stranding came out of nowhere, and it got to number 2 on the Xbox Store downloads. That's a 5-year-old game, however old that is. I think, we all I don't have both consoles, but I know a lot of people do, but then also a lot of people don't. So they do miss out on these things, and just because it's a 5-year-old game doesn't mean I'm not going to play it. So, but yeah, as long as I get to play it, I don't care. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
And it's like you said, people, it's a 5-year-old game. Why does anybody care? And last year it was 2023 is arguably one of the best years in gaming, and the majority of people were playing games that were 5 years or older, or 10 years or older, or something like that. I can't remember what it was that statistically speaking, nobody was really even playing them, which was wild. So yeah, no, you guys are right. We should at least give it a chance. And I think we should give it a chance after Call of Duty. I turned on my Xbox this morning just to get that update in, And the first thing I saw when I turned on my Xbox was an advertisement for microtransactions for Call of Duty. They're like, get your Call of Duty coins. And I was like, it's funny that we've already moved on from marketing for the game and now we're just marketing for the microtransactions in the game. It was like, right there's your money. Like, who cares if it's on Game Pass and people are getting it for free? Like, you're making your money from microtransactions. And we even already knew that from the World of Warcraft and how, like, the first horse skin made more money than the first expansion or something. The Lich King expansion.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just
But
for a stupid horse armor that everyone wants.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Fraser, let me ask you. Let's go ahead and hop into the handheld aspect of this conversation. And we've talked about it a little bit on the show, but you're the guy who doesn't have a Steam Deck, doesn't really find himself interested in one. However, you do find yourself playing the xCloud on your phone when you're on the train to work every day. So, what do you feel inside your heart and in your mind when you hear an Xbox handheld? Or that could be the future of Xbox consoles?
I'm a sucker for new toys, right? I just bought a fucking alarm clock. I don't need an alarm clock. But seeing that advert of like, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is it made me smile because I was like, this is so cool. Like we live in a generation now where I can just play games wherever I am. I can be sitting at the airport waiting for my plane, and I can be playing on my phone on my Xbox. And it's just such a magnificent place to be. I am excited to see if they do non-game, because like not every game is available on cloud gaming. Which it would be nice to actually have everything that I owned to be available to play.
That
I can do.
is supposedly coming soon.
I hope so. I really do hope so. And then that like leads me to think that, okay, so we're getting a handheld, right? Is it going to just be streaming? Like, am I going to have to always be connected to something to stream it? Or am I going to be able to download my games onto this device?
Let me interject right there real quick that he did state during that first interview with Bloomberg that ideally we would want to see this hardware be local.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I will add one thing to that. This is pure speculation. I know enough about PC hardware and the way it's developed. I don't know when they would have started development of this thing, but if this was going to strictly be cloud streaming, I don't see this device taking years and years and years to develop.
Yeah.
With the little bit that I know about how that works. So.
Yeah, I already do it on my phone, right? And my phone is, I've got the new Samsung, so it is a powerful device. And I've got one of those backbone controllers, and I just sit on the train and play on my Xbox. Like I think it's brilliant. I don't like the idea of Steam Deck for me, and it's always been a thing that I've never known enough about computers to really understand like what's going on. But all my friends that had computers were constantly updating parts in their PCs to make them better. And here's me sitting here with my PlayStation, and it's fine. And it runs all the new games, and it runs all the stuff. And like a new game will come out, and they're like, oh, I have to upgrade my graphics card to play this new game. And I was like, oh, I could just play it on my PlayStation. Like it's fine. And so like the idea of the Steam Deck, again, it's just, I don't know how it all works, but it put me off because I was like, how long is it going to be relevant? Like how am I going to be able to play every game I own on it? Is it going to be able to run some? When the new games come out, is it going to be powerful enough to run that? I don't know. At the moment, my phone can do all that, and I don't need to upgrade anything. So like, I'm all for it. If they do something, I'll be buying it. I'll definitely be buying it.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you'll definitely be on it because you can trust that an Xbox platform is going to run the newest, latest game no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's it. Because like I said, like Call of Duty's out now. I can stream it on my phone, on the train, and like, sure, I live in Australia, and I don't have any problems with my network connection. So, obviously, if you live somewhere where you don't have like good cell phone reception, or you don't have good internet connection, or whatever it may be, then you will definitely have a different experience than I do. 100%. There's times where I might be sitting on the couch and it might lag a little bit, but that's it. Like I never have my cell phone connected to my home internet. It's always just on the provider that I use, and it's never been a problem.
Now, Dano, do you see yourself shutting down the website to give yourself more time to whip out that Xbox handheld when you're on the elevator at work?
Nope, don't buy it. I personally don't have any use for it. I know a lot of people that do. Great. Again, if you want to play there, play it. It's not for me. I don't. If I'm going to game, I want to game on my TV. That's just me. I think the most I've ever played on my phone is Wordament. That's about all I've ever done. I'll wait till I get home to play Gears of War on my 4K screen in 60 inches rather than 4.
Yeah. No, I can. Yeah.
And let's see, what other aspects of this interview do we want to dive into, guys? Acquisitions. Let's talk about the acquisitions part of it. How are you? You are the guy, Dano, who wrote an article about acquisitions. In hindsight, maybe the Blizzard Activision acquisition wasn't. Yeah. So, how are you feeling about the idea that they are always open to more acquisitions?
Again, I think that's a comment similar to the no red tape thing. It's, they're not gonna, if Capcom tomorrow calls and says, hey, we're open for being, I don't think they're gonna say no, like we don't want it. I think this, for the most part, though, is smaller teams. I don't think they really want to go buy another $60 billion publisher. Who knows? Maybe they do, but I think this is more of a, Ninja Theory comes calling or something like that. It's that, and I think they really want to get into mobile. So I think that you might see a lot of mobile purchases. I have no clue what the mobile scene looks like to even comment on that, but I think that's a lot of what it is. And then you might see, not saying IO, but a team like IO or People Can Fly, like they're building relationships with those companies. They're developing games for them right now, so it would make sense for those types of teams. But yeah, I don't think they're going out. I think the Activision one, they went out of their way. Like, I don't think Activision was for sale. As far as my memory is, they just kind of, you guys are kind of in trouble. Would you think about selling? Yeah, okay. So I think that was more where that was at, and I don't think they're actively going out to spend their money right now. Like, I don't even think they know if this is all going to be successful enough yet to continue buying stuff. Like, to me, the whole idea of, Phil's lying because the console is going to die. Like, people have that mindset. So if they think that is even remotely true, why are they going to spend another $30 billion on another gaming company just to get out of gaming? I'm slightly worried that it could turn into an Embracer's situation. They have a lot more money than Embracer, obviously. Like, Embracer is selling off because their money fell through. But I don't want them to buy 3 million companies and then all of a sudden they leave. Again, I don't think they are leaving, but I don't want that to be the case.
Now, and that's the thing is, geez, I'm sorry, guys. My brain is not working properly tonight at all. But, you know, it goes back to what you were saying about Phil Spencer, them buying Activision Blizzard, and all of a sudden Microsoft, you're very aware that Xbox is owned by Microsoft. And I don't think that the timing was a coincidence. I think it is that, you know, they spent $69 billion, nice, on this company. And Microsoft's like, all right, we need to start seeing the fruits of your labor. We need to start seeing Game Pass. We need to start seeing this stuff bring in the money. We need to start seeing the fruits of your labor over the past X amount of years. And I absolutely agree with you guys when you say, like, Phil Spencer, I don't believe he ever came out and had any intention of lying. He's always said things like, I would like to see XYZ happen. And, you know, it's times like these when you start realizing that it's like, oh, well, you know, that was just Phil Spencer talking as a person, not so much like him speaking for Xbox or on behalf of Xbox. But now, before we move on to our next topic, let's talk a little bit about Harry's article here when it comes to the advertisement and them basically being like everything is an Xbox right now. Fraser's already kind of touched on this a lot too. But the question I have for Danno, and I already know your feelings on it, but for the watchers and listeners out there, what are your feelings on more hardware to come? Do you think the Xbox is going anywhere? You think it's here to stay? Or if it is going to stay, how long do you predict console gaming is going to be around from Xbox?
I think it's going to stick around for a while. So I'm of the opinion there's 34 million Game Pass subscribers. I mean, I know we'll get an update soon with Call of Duty numbers, see what that looks like. But as of right now, the number we have is 34 million. If you put even 50% of that as Xbox, which I don't know, I feel like that's a safe guess. You're looking at around 17, 18 million subscribers. Game Pass is what they are aiming for. They want gamers in their ecosystem. Most console gamers game on console for a reason. If the Xbox console disappears tomorrow, I don't think those 30 million Xbox owners are going to PC. They're going to go to PlayStation. The vast majority of them. So I don't think they're going to piss away 18, 20 million Game Pass subscribers to get rid of the hardware. They'll keep the hardware. They'll keep those 20 million people happy. And they'll worry about expanding on PC, on Fire Stick, on, you know, whatever else they can get on. The only thing I would say is if Game Pass ever goes to PlayStation or Nintendo, then I would be worried. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it did, then I shouldn't say worried. I think consoles would die. The Xbox console would die if that came to be. But I think right now, I think Xbox will kind of turn into like Dell and IBM. Like it'll be a PC that plugs into your computer, into your TV. It'll just be another brand where you can play all your games, PlayStation and Nintendo games, but you can play the majority of your games, especially if they've been talking about trying to get Steam on your Xbox and Epic on your Xbox. It'll just be a device that happens to plug into your TV, and you can play all your games on your TV.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the thing we often forget is the fact of I listened to that Elon Musk and Joe Rogan podcast that went up the day of the election or whatever, and something that they talked about on that podcast was the advancement of technology every 20 years and how much it's come along from 80s to the 2000s, then 2000 to 2020. Just imagine what it's going to look like in 2020 to 2040. And they were talking about this in regards to, like, you know, the the robots that Elon's trying to put in all of our houses to watch our babies. But that's
saw
what
saw how that went in Fallout, right?
that's what I'm saying.
Mr. Handsy or whatever his name is.
Say what you want about Joe Rogan, but man, it was pretty funny when he was like, "Yeah, everybody will have their personal Terminators," and he's like, "We're trying to stay away from terms like Terminator." I mean, that's pretty funny. But anyways, it makes you think like, all right, they're talking about robots being in your home. Is it that really hard to believe that 20 years from now the internet's going to be that accessible for everyone, or the internet's going to be that good that to consider using a Fire Stick or something like a Fire Stick is going to perform as well as actual console? I'm just saying, I don't think it's that out there when you take a look back at history and see how much technology has advanced over the past 20 years, but who knows?
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I don't think they're, as long as, there's consoles out there and it's performing, why stop a good thing?
Yeah, it's not going to sell. Like, I don't think people think they're competing with PlayStation. I don't think they are anymore. They just, if they have 30 million console users, they have 30 million console users. Like, I don't think that's, obviously they'd love it to be 40 million, 50 million, like whatever the case may be. They're not going to say we don't want to sell more. But I think they're happy with that, unless all of a sudden, I've seen people say like, no one's going to buy the next Xbox. I think you're still going to, they have their 20 to 30 million, like, hardcore people that are going to buy one regardless. And they're fine with that at this point. And I've seen people say, well, they might make one more, but who knows after that? Well, that's like 15 years from now. Like, I don't know if there'll be a PlayStation 7 15 years from now. Like, it's like I can sit here and say
the prices are going. No
they're
one's
doing
going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, I can't predict 15 years from now.
No. And did we think we'd be sitting here talking about Halo coming to PlayStation even a year or two ago? I mean, anything could happen. Yeah. But, that kind of goes, I want to go back to the statement I first brought up when we started talking about all this. The whole entire statement he made about we don't see $1,000 consoles as the way to go moving forward into the future. Like, again, don't think that's a shot on PlayStation Pro. I think that is more indicative of like, hey, we're going to continue to make consoles, but we don't think the route to go is, for us as Xbox, the route isn't let's keep building better and better and better hardware. That's how we're going to grow as a platform. I think he's just saying like, it's this whole entire initiative that they're taking this week of Xbox is everything. It is your phone. It is yada, yada, yada. So I think that's really what he was trying to convey there when he was saying $1,000 consoles aren't the way for us. So, is there anything else any of you guys wanted to touch on about the Xbox stuff before we move on to Fraser's two-fall review?
Don't think so.
Okie dokie, artichoke. Fraser reviewed a game called...
love a good artichoke.
Fraser reviewed a game called Two Falls. Tell us a little bit about it. How was your experience with it? Also, I saw a really cool video from the developers on Instagram when they got a chance to finally release the game. It's so cool to get to see developers get excited about people enjoying their games. But yeah, go ahead and tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so like I was lucky enough to get a review code for Two Falls before it was released, and it's made by a Canadian developer called Unreliable Narrators, and I think that's a brilliant name for what they're trying to do as a game developer. They're trying to tell stories of people whose stories are just not being told. So Two Falls is set in the 17th century, just as the French are kind of starting to make their way to Canada. It follows two very different characters. So first of all, there's absolutely zero combat in this game. It is all narrative based. Your two characters are Jeanne, and she is a devout Christian woman coming to Quebec to start a new life. And then it is also the other side of it. You play Mikan, who is a First Nation Canadian. He's a young hunter who is, he's been taught by his grandfather how to live off the land, how to love the land. And the whole way through, you are meeting people and having dialogue with them. The content is very heavy. It's it's about a lot of things that people don't like to talk about. Mainly like some of the like the French colonization of Canada. You as It's very interesting. So you play through this game as Jeanne and how she views the world. Everything is terrifying. All of the colors are dull. All of the trees are all spiky. Everything's cold, and you are making your way through. Your ship crashed, and you have to make your way to Quebec by any means necessary. You run into different people as you go, and then you have dialogue options. And you know how when I think it was Mass Effect Andromeda came out, and the words on the screen versus what you actually said were different. So you would choose like, oh, I want to say this, and then what you actually say is very different. They played on that a little bit in this. So there were some dialogue options that were like, it's very obvious that I want to choose this one, so I choose this one, and then it turns out that there's no right or wrong, but it turns out that was like not really what I meant to say. So that was very cool. And as you make these decisions, the world around you and the conversations that you have develop and change. So as Jan, I was going through, and because she's a very devout Christian woman, she finds a Bible. And back in the 17th century, women were not allowed to read the Bible, but she had lost her like rosary beads, and so she thought, oh, I've got this Bible. I'm going to use this as my whatever she needs to use it for. And you get a choice. You're like, do I read it or do I not? And so I chose to read it, and you start to go down like a more of a progressive style of thinking, or you can go down like a more dogmatic, like faith, and you eventually run into some like a trading outpost that is run by the church, and there is some horrific stuff going on, and you're caught in the middle of it, and you can actually decide to just blindly follow, or you can do some like you can stand up for yourself, and everything goes crazy. And then when you play as Mikan, he sees the world differently. So you run through the same areas as you did with Jan, but everything's bright and happy and beautiful. So like I loved that contrast of like, this is new, I'm terrified, I don't know what's going on, and it's portrayed in the landscape as opposed to like a narration style. Yeah, it was very, very heavy. It was one of those games where you finish it and I was like exhausted. It's like 6 hours long, and yeah, it was. I played through it in like 2 sittings, and I wanted to start again and go down the different paths, but some of the choices were so like horrific that I don't even want to know what would have happened if I had chosen this. It was a brilliant, brilliant game, and I recommend it to everyone.
What did you end up rating it on the Gamer Social Club scale?
I can't remember what our scale is now. I gave it an 8.5, but I don't remember what the name associated to an 8.5
Think-
is.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great and a half.
Okay.
Yep.
Great and a half. That's it.
Great.
So
I love it.
actually I also have a copy of it to give away. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll figure that out. And stay tuned on the Gamer Social Club Twitters to go in the draw to win a copy of Two Falls. I also have a interview lined up with a couple of the devs, hopefully early this week.
Oh, hey,
But
that's
we'll
awesome.
see how that goes. Yeah, it's been so lovely. So I've been talking with a couple of them, like in DMs and stuff, and they're just such a lovely group of people, and I'm so happy that the release went well. It's at one point they were like one review away from it being like extremely positive on Steam, however their review scales work. And like you said, there was that video on YouTube of them like counting down. Not YouTube, sorry, Instagram, of them counting down, and then it goes live, and just everyone being so excited. I was never expecting to play it. It was never on my radar, and I'm glad I did. It was one of those experiences where it's like Sorry,
I'm
mate.
very. I hadn't heard about it either, but as soon as it came across my email that it's a Canadian-based game, I know you guys don't care as much as I do, but we're a Canadian-based website, thanks to me. But I always wanted to put an emphasis on that. I've always had people say, "Why don't you do a .com? Like you'll get more traction." But I'm very proud of being Canadian and wanting to have the .ca and covering these Canadian games. And the second this is on console, I think it's due to come on console next year at some point. Might be a good question for your interview there.
Yes, I think so.
The second it's released, I will be buying it and playing it just to support the developers. The little bit I did interact with them, they did seem lovely. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to your interview now too.
Yeah. So so like I said, I had a brilliant time with it. Again, like Dana said, like I'm not from Canada, but I am from New Zealand, and the New Zealand people had a very similar experience with the Brits coming to New Zealand. So it kind of, even though it was completely different, it kind of resonates a lot with me. I'm excited to see where these developers go. They they had a lot of help from local elders to make sure that they got everything right, which also I really appreciate. It's not just like eyes closed, head first. They actually put some time and some thought into it because of how heavy the content is. There is a very fine line of offending people and alienating people by telling a certain story that depicts one essentially doing bad or evil things. It was brilliant, and I'm really excited to have a chat to them next week. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
And then, do you know the release date? I'm trying to. Oh, what? Oh, it came out on November 8th. Okay, I see that now.
Yep.
It is available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows. So, and you can like get it on Steam, of course.
Is it?
Only on PC right now.
Oh, it's only
it's
on
only
PC
on
right
PC
now.
at the moment. Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Unless that's changed recently.
If it, well, he wouldn't have reviewed it. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need those achievements.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing where it's only available on Steam. Yeah, whenever I Google it and I look it up, I click on the platform's Dropbox and it says PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. So I just yeah, but I'm only seeing the listing on Steam here. So okay, yeah, it's $19.99 on US dollars. I am definitely
And
very
it's
sold
worth
on this
that.
game.
It's a brilliant little story.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wanted to play through it again. I think eventually I will, but I think it's like one of those movies, say like Schindler's List, for instance. It's an amazing, incredible story, but somehow you can't enjoy it because of what it's about. Yeah.
See, I think that's the best compliment you can give a game like this. Is that you do want to go back through and you do want to see all the different decisions that you make and see what their outcomes can be. I think that's absolutely the highest, because then it just shows you that you are playing a game where your choices really do mold and change the world. And I think that's really cool. Yeah. So yes, I am very sold on this. $19.99. That's can't beat that. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to go ahead and do this bit, guys. I apologize if you guys can't hear it very well, but I have a Nathan Shows His Bits segment for you all. So what this is I'm about to share with you all some audio from a Nintendo Powerline. ABC did an interview with them way back in, I can't remember, in the 1990s. And let's see, so it was originally set up for technical difficulties, like the call center was. But it ended up being a thing where people would call them and ask for advice on how to get through games, and they would give them advice on how to get through those games. So
amazing.
I know. I didn't even know that ever existed. I didn't know people did that, or it's like, hell, hey, I'm stuck on this level in Zelda. Can you help me out? So I want to. Hopefully you guys can. The Discord call isn't going through, but OBS is. So I know if you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, you should be able to hear this.
Know that I am being in Zelda 2. Last level. How in the world do you beat your shadow when he's 10 times as fast as you and he blocks all your shots? But you know what? Out of all the questions, that's the only one I really can't help you with, because that's the end of the game. Yeah, I know. I saw the Triforce. You did? Yeah. Well, it's real nice, but first you gotta beat your darn shadow that moves 10 times as fast as you and you can't hit him. Yeah. Nuts. I know. Okay, well, the best I can do for you is wish you luck and keep my fingers crossed, okay? And I'll do that. Alright, okay? Alright, bye. Good luck. Bye-bye. This is Shannon. I just want to let you know that I'm being taped and your voice may be,
We're shooting for ABC News. We may use this on the news, and we'd like their permission to listen to this conversation.
Yes, I'd just like to let you know that they're taping for ABC News, and your voice may be used in one of the clips. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay, what's the problem? We can't find the first key on Adventure's Link in level 6. The first key? Yeah. Okay, well, what you got to do is there's a magical key, okay? Where do you get that? Okay, the magical key you find in the hidden town of Kasuto. Where's that? Where's that? Yeah. Okay. Do you know do you know where the Six Palaces? Where the what? The Six Palaces, the 3 rocks. No. Okay. Do you know where the Dead Town is? Yeah. Okay. In there. Okay, no. It's to the right of there. Okay. Just keep on going right? Right, and then you'll see the 3 rocks. Yeah. Okay, after you see the 3 rocks, what you gotta do is you gotta go up to the right of there. You'll find a cave with some woods inside. Okay? And you go through the woods and you gotta use your hammer inside of the woods. On the woods? No, in the woods. Okay, so where do you use the hammer? Where do you use it? Anywhere? Yeah. No, you just, you want to do...
Okay, we're having trouble with Super Macho Man.
Super Macho Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not an easy one. Let's see here.
We have a lot of trouble, when he does his punching back.
The spin punch, dodges punches, and then counter punch, okay? If you hit him in the face as he's pulling back from an uppercut, what's going to happen is that's how you're going to get those stars, but you can only use 2 of them. So when he does the spin punch, you got to dodge them till he's... Okay, well, I wish you lots of luck and have fun with Tyson.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
I just thought that was
That's
so cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to know so much about games to, like, and because she knew it just like that. Like, oh, I've got a problem with this. And she's like, oh, yeah, just go here. Do you know where that is? Nah. Oh, well, it's beside this.
It's
amazing.
crazy.
And I can picture the person on the other end with a pen, like, frantically scribbling down where I need to go.
I wish I would have known
so
that. Maybe
cool.
I could have actually finished Ocarina of Time when I was a kid.
Yeah. Amazing. That's so cool.
Could you imagine that? Like, today, it's like, oh, well, you just go to YouTube if you have any questions. Like, can you imagine
that's
a
right.
call center for Elden Ring?
Oh, that'd be wild.
That would be
No, thank you for
poppin'.
that, Nathan. That made my day.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
And then to finish us off for the day, we've got Russell's steamy review time. If you're ready, Russell, and we're cooking up stuff for January, guys. So be
I love
ready.
the steamy review time.
Steamy review.
That's such a
time.
great name for this. Russell's steamy reviews.
I'm still waiting on a picture of you
I
popping
still-
your
He
head
hates
out of
us,
the
man.
shower.
He hates
He
us so
really
much.
does.
I still think it sounds like a porn, but whatever.
That's the idea.
Love it.
Okay. No, I've got a bunch. I'm just wondering where I should start. We'll leave
The
that
first
for
one.
last. No, it's not quite that. It's not quite that simple because I've got one for Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, man.
So I figured we'd want to wait on that one.
Hey, you know what? You did a great job last week with finishing off with the Resident Evil 7 one. That was freaking hilarious.
So this is for something called VR Chat. I've seen this on Steam. I have no idea what it is. Watched a rainbow sparkle furry wolf overdose on painkillers and alcohol. Highly recommend.
What is that? That's such a weird.
I think it's like whenever you see videos on Instagram or TikTok of people talking to each other in like VR, I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I've just seen screenshots, so I can't really comment one way or the other. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the PlayStation 2, I think it was game, Gun.
Yep.
But
Love
I originally played it on PSP, but anyway, this person recommends it. My mom's drug addicted boyfriend got me this as a Christmas gift in 2006.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, I found one for Helldivers 2. This person's got a little over 20 hours on record. It literally just says thanks. And for some reason people think that's hilarious. I'm not really sure. I'm not a Helldivers fan, so maybe there's like some inside baseball there I'm unaware of.
I don't think so.
But I don't know why people are rating it hilarious then, but Devil May Cry 4, Wacky Woohoo Pizza Man Adventures.
Wait.
I agree with that.
Oh, Devil May Cry. Oh, okay. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep, that's accurate.
That game is so weird.
Indeed. Fallout Shelter, which is like it is available on Steam. It was mostly known for being a phone app at the time it launched, but awesome game. The key for success is inbreeding. Once your vault is full of sin, you will have tons of bottle caps.
It's true. They released it on Xbox as well,
Yep.
so I dove into that. But yeah, You start off with like 2 dwellers, and you just put them in the bedroom, and they just make kids
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, I played it because the idea with it was when they launched it before Fallout 4, I think, and
There's
like
like
some of the items that you could at least the cell phone version, you put your account in, and then some of the items carried over to the game. But anyway, so I feel like, so this is for The Last of Us Part 1. I want to remind everyone how terrible the PC port was when it first launched. This reviewer, after a few hours, gave it a thumbs down, said, "Have you tried launching the game before you released it?" It's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of games could learn from that.
Yeah, definitely. This one's for Death's Door. You play as a crow, and the first big quest is to use an umbrella to beat up a grandma who is obsessed with dishware. 10 out of 10.
Has anyone played that? Have you
I
played
have.
it?
I have.
Is it because it's on Game Pass, isn't it? I think.
I think so. I can't remember if I think I played that last year. I can't remember if it was on Xbox or Steam Deck. But
See, I was unaware of how good it was until you said you can beat up a grandma with an umbrella. So now I'm sold.
Now I'm in. Yeah.
Now I'm in.
Resident Evil 2 remake. Start game. Enjoy game. Find Mr. X. Mr. X runs at you. Get scared. Turn game off. Never play again.
Weak.
Yeah, wake.
So this one's for Cult of the Lamb. I thought it was pretty appropriate to do this one last. It says, recruit a new follower. Name them after someone you dislike. Feed them poop until they die. It's cheaper than therapy.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Russell.
So good.
That was a good one. I loved it. Danno, thanks for hopping in tonight. Had a good time with you.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
anytime up on.
yes. And I got the chat and the YouTube chat a little more organized to make that a little easier for us to coordinate. And guys, as always, it's been fun. We will see you again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love y'all. Also, if you've made it this far, that means you care about this show. Please DM me on Twitter with your favorite moments over the past year from the show. If you can't remember the episode, that's fine. But if you remember a moment that stuck out to you and you really loved it, I'm sure I can find it. I'm putting together something and I need your all's help. So yeah, just DM me on Twitter/X or whatever. Or on Discord if we're Discord friends. DM me your favorite moments from the show over the past year. I'm working on something, so I think you guys will enjoy that. Anyways, thank you all so much. We'll see you again next week. Ciao.
Hey.